Okay, hi everybody. End of week 3, and we're about to start a new make cycle. Having a blast once again reading your Cinderella posts, and yes, just like Little Red Riding Hood, they're completely gruesome. It really makes you wonder, we still teach fairy tales. We teach very clean versions of those fairy tales, which is, I'm sure, a good thing. But I think it's really important for us to know origins, the various cultural representations of those fairy tales, and so it's been really fun to read your work. And then the makes are coming in, which are due, Friday night. I'm actually recording this on Thursday, so due tomorrow. And the ones that are there so far have just been awesome. Like, I just love that some of you are playing with haikus and different formats for how to represent new ideas in the story. So, yes, thank you so much for your makes. I'm hoping you're already starting to do it, but I'm hoping you'll also go in and say something nice to each other because these makes are great. And I'll highlight some of my favorites, hopefully by the end of the weekend, but if not, certainly the beginning of next week. So we're moving into our series books, which I'm super excited for y'all to read these great children's series. I said I have a face-to-face version of this class. So I teach 341 as a face-to-face on Tuesday, Thursday. And I said to them today that, if you find that you don't like reading children's books, you probably shouldn't go into teaching. Because they should be really playful and really fun, and mostly you should really like to read them. And it's hard to fake. Like, if you're going to make recommendations to kids about books, then you need to have read, a lot of books or at least be familiar with them. So I'm excited for you to read these series books. And so many of you are parents that you probably know some of these. So yeah, we'll start series books. So coming up over the next couple of weeks, our similar routines. By Wednesday, you're going to talk about your series book and give a little summary so that other people will know what it's about. Things like Origami Yoda are not exactly in the mainstream, whereas Series of Unfortunate Events might be more well known. So just a little bit of a summary. And then I have some options for things you could talk about, and I'm going to have you pick a couple of those to talk through. But as always, if you have another idea about the book that you want to talk about, that's totally reasonable. The posts were looking so much better this week in terms of just length and depth, and so I want you to keep pushing on that. I really am expecting, 3 to 4 pretty meaty paragraphs, substantial, I think is what I said, by Wednesday. And then we're starting to read Donald and Miller. So by Friday, you're going to read the intro and pages 1 through 4 in chapter 1. And I want you to do a couple things. One is talk about reading experiences that you had in school that were positive and reading experiences that kind of kept you from reading. And what you'll probably end up noticing is the range. Some of you love things like contests and points, and others of you, that kept you from reading because you knew you'd never, have enough points. And so what is it about reading practices in elementary school in particular that can make you want or not want to read? And so let's think about that. And then specifically, I want you to pull out some of the ideas of Miller that you find interesting or intriguing that you want to talk a little bit about. So that's week 1. Starting talking about your series books. Those series books might take you like 10 minutes to read. Series of Unfortunate Events might take you a couple of hours, but some of them are really fast. And then the second week, you'll again talk about your series book a little bit more. And in this case, I'd like you to think through like how you might teach with that book. Like, what does it lend itself? For example, Series of Unfortunate Events, what I love about Lemony Snicket is he treats kids like they're smart. And so the vocab in there is really amazing, and you could do some cool stuff with that. You could do an origami lesson plan with Origami Yoda. You could talk about superheroes and what makes that a superhero. Kids could write their own funny short stories like the Weenie series. So I want you to think through like what kinds of things could you do. And then we'll end again with a make that'll be due in 2 weeks, on Sunday. And this time it is absolutely free reign, whatever you want to do. And in next Friday's weekly update, I'll hold up some examples of things students have done, and I also already put some there. So coming up, you just need to start reading in Donald Miller and your series book. Let's see. The other thing is I posted last week in the email to you all, and I want to talk about that, the picture book assignment, and you've all been assigned. Everybody, we've got 35 different picture book authors that you've all been assigned, and there's a link under the assignments tab on the website. There's also a link in the email that I sent last week, on Friday or Saturday or whatever it was. And then there's also a link in the post for week 3. So lots of places to find the link of which book you've been assigned. You have until the end of October, so almost 2 full months, to do this assignment. And what I'm asking you to do is kind of give us a resource for a picture book author. So a little bit about who the author is, which books they've written, share some of the books with us, and then perhaps create an activity around the book, one of the books or more of the books, some sort of lesson plan or something you could do with students. So for example, one of you has Peter Reynolds, and he wrote Sky Color, he wrote The Dot, he wrote Ish, and I would want you to say a little bit about him, maybe find a video of someone reading from the book, and then maybe have an activity that participates in International Dot Day, which is coming up on September 15th. So I want you to kind of create your own activities and lesson plans. You could Google like lesson plans for the dot, but I don't want you to copy and paste and steal other people's stuff. Like, that would be bad. I want you to actually try to think through yourself what you might do with these picture books, because it'd just be good for you to think it through. And then you can share that resource in any way that makes sense. You can make a Prezi, you can make Google Slides, you could make a video like this. I think I gave you lots of options, and I'm certainly open to any. So again, due by October 27th. And then here's what's making me nervous. At the end of that email, the update that I sent, I had a link that said, "Did you read this email? Click on this link." And only half of you clicked on that link, which really surprised me. I also noticed there should be at least 35 views for these videos every week, knowing that you've looked at the extra information. And I'm starting to get emails with questions that tell me that you haven't looked at any of that stuff. You haven't looked at the weekly update or the video update. So I need you to do me a favor. I have 140 students, so it really helps me out if you're reading through the stuff before you ask me. I'm always, as those of you who've emailed me know, I'm always happy to answer. I answer all times of day and night. But it makes me nervous that you're not reading email, because I don't know how you're getting the information on an online class without maybe perhaps watching these videos and also, reading through the weekly updates. So I'm going to keep putting a link there like, hey, did you read the email? And it just takes you 2 seconds. You click on the link, put your name, and say, yes, I read it. And I'll feel a little bit better that you're getting all the information that you need. So that would help me out. That would be awesome. I think that's all I have to say about that. Yeah. You're doing really good work. You're doing really thoughtful work in the G+ community. Coming up, we get to read really cool, funny series books for kids. And I look forward to looking at your fairy tale makes over the next couple of days. The storm last night was awesome. I hope cooler weather is in our future. Hope you're having all having a good week, and I'll see you online.